Viewer discretion is advised. In Research Sector O2 at SITE 19, behind a containment cell door that requires 2 armed guards and a sedation protocol just to open safely, there is a plague doctor. Not a person dressed as one. Not a historical recreation. A plague doctor, ceramic beak mask, thick dark robes, black medical bag, who has been alive since the medieval period, who speaks English and French with equal fluency, who carries a leather journal full of surgical notes, and who is absolutely, completely, devastatingly convinced that he is saving your life. The robes have grown into his skin, the mask is part of his face now, and if he touches you with his bare hands, every biological function in your body stops instantly. He doesn't think of this as killing, he thinks of it as the first step, warm, welcoming. Hello everybody, I'm She. Today we bring you the Foundation's most cordial, most dangerous and most genuinely tragic resident, SCP-049, also known as the Plague Doctor. The entity SCP-049 stands 1.9 meters tall. The leather robes and ceramic beak mask that define his appearance are not clothing. They are him. Over an unknown period of time, the garments grew directly out of his body and fused completely with the underlying dermal layers. X-ray imaging confirms a standard humanoid skeleton beneath the outer chitinous shell. Everything on the surface, the robes, the mask, the layered texture of something that looks like it should be removable, is organic, is alive, is part of him, in the same way that skin is part of anyone else. He carries a black medical bag at all times. Inside it are surgical tools. He uses them. His lethal contact field, the mechanism by which direct skin contact instantly terminates all biological functions in any organism, remains completely unknown to Foundation research. Emphasis, not partially understood, not theorized, unknown. The Foundation's best biological analysts have studied SCP-049 for years and have produced no working model for how the effect operates, what triggers it, or whether it has any limits. It simply works, every time, on everything living that his bare hands touch. He is fully sapient. He is generally cordial. He has strong preferences for English and medieval French, a dry wit that surfaces regularly in documented interviews, and a complete, unshakable belief in the reality and urgency of something he calls the pestilence. The Foundation has never been able to determine what the pestilence is, not for lack of trying. He cannot define it beyond the certainty that he can see it, that it is everywhere, that it is spreading, and that he is the only one capable of stopping it. He has been trying to stop it for a very long time. The first interview, when Foundation field agents encountered SCP-049 during an investigation into unexplained disappearances in Montauban, southern France, they found several reanimated corpses alongside him in a local residence. The tactical team neutralized the corpses. SCP-049 watched the engagement calmly while documenting observations in his leather journal. When it was over, he entered Foundation custody without resistance. The intake interview at Site-85 was conducted by Dr. Raymond Ham. It is one of the most cited documents in SCP-49's file, not because of what it reveals about the anomaly's threat level, but because of what it reveals about his character. He opened in French. When Ham asked for a translator, he switched immediately to English, and expressed genuine delight at meeting a fellow man of science. He asked about Ham's specialty. When Ham said cryptobiology, SCP-049 laughed with genuine warmth, and said he had worried he'd been abducted by common street thugs. He described the Foundation's containment facility as remarkably clean, and noted, with apparent approval, that there was very little trace of the pestilence within its walls. When Ham asked what the pestilence was, SCP-049 referenced it as the scourge, the great dying, and then stopped, paused tapping his temple, searching for the modern term, and ultimately concluded that it didn't matter what they called it. It was everywhere outside. Many had succumbed. Many more would continue to succumb, until a perfect cure could be developed. He said he was very close. He said it was his duty in life to rid the world of it. He called it the cure to end all cures. When Ham asked if he meant the bubonic plague, SCP-049 paused and said, unsettling quietly, that he didn't know what that was. He is not treating the bubonic plague. He has never been treating the bubonic plague. Whatever the pestilence is, it exists in a register that modern medicine cannot detect, that modern language does not have a name for, and that SCP-049 perceives with complete clarity in a significant portion of the population he encounters. When Ham pressed him on the reanimated corpses, pointing out that the things recovered from the residents were not human, SCP-049 acknowledged that his cure was not yet perfect. He said that would come with time and further experimentation. He said he had spent a lifetime developing his methods, and would spend a lifetime more if necessary. Slight laugh. He laughed. He told Ham to fetch his coat and show him to his quarters. He said their work was beginning now. He was not being aggressive. He was being collegial. He genuinely believed that two men of science, meeting in a clean facility with minimal pestilence trace, were about to accomplish something important together. The surgeries. The Foundation provided SCP-049 with animal corpses for surgical study. Bovine specimens primarily, with occasional primate tissue for anatomical comparison. The resulting SCP-049-2 instances were removed and incinerated immediately. SCP-049 accepted this arrangement without objection. He understood it as the Foundation's version of peer review. He disagreed with the conclusions but respected the process. The observation logs from his surgical sessions are among the strangest documents in any active containment file. He used hand-powered pumps and copper tubing to introduce dark fluids into vascular systems. He documented every structural modification in his leather journal, with the careful precision of someone who takes the scientific method seriously and is applying it to something that the scientific method was not designed to address. When a reanimation failed, he acknowledged the stumbling block, surrendered the biological material for incineration, and began planning the next iteration. When a lighting rod was substituted for an electric cattle prod during one session, he used it to shock a bovine corpse, repeatedly, until the reanimated result achieved an ambulatory state, despite a complete physical inversion of its cranium and limbs. Measured, matter of fact, he noted the result carefully. He moved on. He was not done yet. SCP-049-2 instances. The reanimated results of his surgical interventions retain no memory or higher cognitive function. They have basic motor skills and primal threat responses. They become aggressive when provoked or when SCP-049 directs them. Their internal biology expresses active anomalous physiological processes, entirely unlike normal human biology. Solemn, he calls them cured. He says this with complete sincerity every time. He is not satisfied with them. He knows the cure is not yet perfect. But they are, in his understanding, no longer afflicted by the pestilence. That is progress. That is movement toward the goal. He has been moving toward the goal for centuries. Dr. Ham. On April 16, 2017, Dr. Raymond Ham entered the containment cell to conduct a routine tactical assessment. SCP-049 grew suddenly anxious. The observation logs show the change in his behavior beginning within seconds of Ham's entry, a shift from his baseline cordial engagement to something more urgent, more focused. He inquired about Ham's immediate physical health. Ham attempted to proceed with standard protocol. Tense SCP-049 became aggressively hostile. He terminated Dr. Ham via direct contact. The breach was not detected for 3 hours due to an operational breakdown in local security monitoring. By the time staff were alerted, SCP-049 had completed full surgical restructuring on Dr. Ham's body. The follow-up interview was conducted by Dr. Theron Sherman from Site-42. It is the other document that everyone who works in proximity to SCP-049 has read. Not because of what it reveals about the incident, because of what it reveals about him. Sherman demanded an explanation. SCP-049 was silent for 11 seconds before saying his actions did not need to be explained. When Sherman said he had killed Raymond Ham and butchered him, SCP-049 interrupted immediately. Firm, correcting. Not dead, not butchered, cured. He said it the way someone says something they have already had to say too many times to people who keep getting it wrong. Sherman asked, cured of what? What pestilence? What could he possibly have seen in Ham that day that he had not seen before, that would be worth his life? Pause. SCP-049 struggled. The transcript shows it. The pauses, the breathing, the incomplete sentences. He said the pestilence presents in unforeseeable fashions. He said it has a way of creeping into the unprepared. He said to call it what they want. He said it was a mercy. Sherman said he was a vegetable. Quiet, strained, SCP-049 paused. He said he would not expect Sherman to understand. He said Sherman and his ilk had proven time and again to be men of emotion rather than science. He said they could not appreciate the horrors he had seen, the millions who had succumbed, who had been changed. Sherman said the cure had cost Ray his life. And SCP-049 broke. Somber, not dramatically, not violently. He broke the way something breaks when it has been holding enormous weight for a very long time, and someone finally pushes in the exact right place. The transcript shows the sentences fragmenting, the argument losing its structure, the certainty cracking at the edges until what was underneath it became briefly, rawly visible. He said he had created a miracle and was offering it freely to the afflicted. He said Sherman was short-sighted and foolish. He said Dr. Ham was sick and he cured him. He said he was the only one who could do this. He said others could be saved. He said even Sherman, though he did not deserve it, might be saved. And then the sentences stopped connecting to each other, and he kept saying Ham's name, and kept saying he was cured, and kept saying he knew he was sick, and then, at the very end, in a voice the transcript describes as barely audible. Barely a whisper. I am the cure. The interview ended there. What we know, and what we don't. The Foundation has confirmed the following about SCP-049 after years of study and observation. His lethal contact field is real and total, and completely unexplained. His surgical interventions produce genuine biological reanimation that should not be possible by any understood mechanism. He is centuries old at minimum, and shows no signs of deterioration. He entered Foundation custody willingly, and has been largely cooperative with containment protocols, except when he perceives someone as afflicted. The Foundation has not confirmed what the pestilence is. They have not confirmed whether it is real. They have not confirmed whether anyone SCP-049 has killed was actually afflicted by something, or whether his perception is a fixed delusion with no external basis, or whether it is something in between those two possibilities that current scientific understanding cannot yet bridge. Reflective what the behavioral record does confirm is this. He is not performing. He is not cruel. He does not kill for pleasure or indifference. Every documented instance of SCP-049 killing a human being has been followed by what the observation logs consistently describe as frustration and remorse. Acknowledgement that simple termination does not cure the affliction, that the surgery is necessary, that the current iteration of the cure is still imperfect. He is trying. He has always been trying. He has been trying since before anyone currently alive was born, across centuries of iteration and failure and renewed effort, driven by a certainty that the pestilence is real, and that he is the only one who can stop it. He might be right about the first part. The Foundation genuinely does not know. He is almost certainly wrong about the second part, not because his intentions are wrong, but because his methods have never produced a result he himself would classify as success. He knows this. The interview logs make it clear that he knows this. The cure is not perfect yet. That is why the work continues. That is why it will always continue. Quietly, he is a doctor who has been failing to cure something for hundreds of years, and cannot stop trying, because the thing he is trying to cure is, to him, the only thing in the world that matters. There is something in that which is very hard to look at directly. Current containment SCP-049 is currently prohibited from interacting directly with any members of Foundation staff, and is not being provided with additional corpses for surgical use. The order persists indefinitely pending structural consensus from the Containment Committee. He is in his cell. He has his leather journal. He is presumably still documenting, still refining, still working toward the perfect cure in whatever way is available to him in a room with no specimens and no staff contact. The aerosolized lavender works on him if he becomes agitated. The Foundation keeps it on hand. Lavandula multifida. Medieval physicians used it as a ward against plague. Soft, almost rye, he probably finds that appropriate. He probably finds something almost collegial in it, The Foundation reaching, even unconsciously, for the same tools he would reach for. Men of science, after all. Even if they keep getting the diagnosis wrong, he would cure them all if they let him. Every single one of them. He would work until every person in SITE-19 was free of the pestilence, and he would call it the greatest achievement in the history of medicine, and he would mean it completely. The cell door is locked. The lavender is stocked. The leather journal is full of notes that no one outside this file has read in full. Slow, haunting. Somewhere in Research Sector 02, a medieval plague doctor is sitting in the dark with his surgical tools and his certainty, waiting for the next person who needs saving. He has been waiting a very long time. He is very patient. Warm, sincere. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Have a favorite SCP you want to see on this channel? Leave us your suggestions in the comments below. In the meantime, check out some of our other videos. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.